What is up? Welcome back to the Bleep Bloop podcast. It has been such a long time. I'm so glad to be back doing these. I always enjoy getting on this microphone and talking video game stuff. All right, there's a lot of new content on the YouTube channel. The website is still being updated. But in any case, on this episode, we're talking about open world games. What makes open world games great? I've always loved open world games. I think the very first open world game I can remember was The Legend of Zelda on NES. That was like a true open world exploration because you could go to different dungeons at different times, but obviously you needed certain abilities or tools in order to access those dungeons. But it allowed you to explore the game, and it had a map. I mean, anybody that had that NES cartridge knew that it had a map that you could open up and check out, and I thought that was just fun. But then I remember diving into, on PC, I played Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and I was like, this is amazing. To just be able to play this game, cruise around on a bike, steal a car, have all kinds of different weapons, climb up on buildings, like that was cool. That was something I had never done. And it just evolved from there. You fast forward all the way to a game like Red Dead Redemption 2, where you can explore the countryside, you can ride your horses, just go hunt animals, find herbs and be a herbalist, do all those cool things. But what makes an open world game great? I mean, I think there's tons of different things that make an open world game great. The first and foremost is exploration, right? It's that freedom. I mean, think about why they call it open world. It's a world for you to immerse yourself in. You design a character, and that character, you become that character. You go and explore that world. You go have adventures in that world. You can do side quests. You can do main story mode. You can just go and just do whatever you want. If you want to I'm going to just climb every building and look around. I'm going to, in GTA, jump in a car and try to run over as many people as I can. I'm going to jump in the water and swim down and explore all the depths of the bodies of water in games like Assassin's Creed. I mean, you can do those things. So I think that exploration and that freedom is something that is always great. I also like open worlds that allow you to, in some aspects, have some creative freedom. So if you can build a house, like Minecraft. Minecraft is open world, and it's also a simulation game. It's a crafting game. It's an exploration game, and it allows you to do that. You can build a base. You can go explore and get resources, go back to your base. Those are really cool things. I also think, a game like Grand Theft Auto 5 or Red Dead Redemption 2, what makes them great is the rich environments, the vastness of the environments, the different the life that exists within that world. Like, if you don't play Grand Theft Auto for a long time and then you open it up, just listening to the sounds of the people within that world on the street, the cars driving by, it makes it feel like you're in a real place. And you explore, you walk around, you have interaction. It's like being in the real world almost sometimes. I think that is great. There are, some open world games that are great for that, but their storylines aren't so good. I think Red Dead Redemption 2, I keep bringing that game up, but it had such an engaging story that I finished it. I finished the main story for that game because it was just so good. It was so good. And I think if you have an open world game that not only captures the environment in an amazing way, but gives you creative freedom, exploratory freedom, but also has a storyline that you want to dive into, that that makes a great game. In addition to that, NPCs, like I talked about before, that give the world life. I think Cyberpunk 2077, like it has a world that you want to be in, you want to explore in, and then those non-playable characters give it life. They in themselves become part of your story, part of your adventure. There are some things that I think if an open world game is done correctly, it really just adds value, and that is like the gameplay mechanics. Like, there has to be some reality to it, but I think there's also some fun in open world games that kind of let you do some over the top stuff, like let you kind of over exaggerate. And I think that's good, because I remember playing Grand Theft Auto, and there was a cheat code, if I'm not mistaken, that allowed you to fly, right? Like, or you could like fly endlessly. That kind of stuff is cool because it creates a new dimension to the game. It allows you to do something. But I also think when there is that realism, it gives value because you don't want to be reckless in certain points. There may be sometimes you turn it on and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna just take a weapon out and I'm just gonna go cause havoc, and you don't care. But there might also be times where you don't want to do that. You want to be careful, you want to be methodical and see how long you can go. I remember playing games where I take a passive approach. I'm not gonna kill anybody. I'm gonna stop at the stop sign. I'm only gonna drive when the light turns green. Like you do all those things. I'm gonna sneak around and try not to get caught. I'm only gonna climb up on the tops of buildings. I'm not gonna use the street level. So that's always cool, right? I also think attention to detail. The little things always make a world great. Like, if I am sneaking around and I don't hide in a bush, there should be that realism that person sees me, not that person doesn't see me because I'm just off to the left in the shadow barely. No, like, there should be that realness that if you're not covered correctly, they can see you. I think there is a little bit too much detail. For example, like the police in Grand Theft Auto, if you barely nudge them, all of a sudden you're going to jail. I mean, but maybe that's real, in real life that really does happen too. I think as we progress, through game development and next generation consoles and PC advancements, I think open world games should be even more immersive. They should continue to exist even after a game launches. And I don't think a game has to be super, super massive. I think you could take a game where it's a city, but you put so much detail within that small space in the same way you would create a large landscape. Because that's great if there's lots of like areas to explore, but if they're empty and they don't feel lived in, then it's just an empty space. But I think there needs to be a balance, and I think in doing that, it creates a living experience. And then with updates, I think those updates always improve the experience. Sometimes an update might degrade the living conditions. So now the world is in tumultuous times, and then another upgrade. There's been some stuff that's been improved. Like, this building wasn't here before. They just constructed this new building. Then you come back later. They went out of business. Like that kind of stuff would be cool. But I also think that what else is important is the stability of the game. So if you look at a game like Grand Theft Auto 5, why has it been around for so long? It's because they've constantly improved it. They've constantly updated it. They've constantly provided support to the game. I think that's the same thing for Cyberpunk. When it launched, it wasn't good, but they made those improvements. They keep updating it. They keep working on it. So it still is playable, and it still is an enjoyable experience. So all those things are why I think open world games are great games. And I think I don't think every game needs to be an open world game, but I also think that there should still be an abundance of them because, sometimes that's all players want to do. They just want to explore it. And, in a day and age where we live where people want to create content, this allows for tons of content to be created, tons of different experiences for people to have. So why do you like open world games? Do you even like them at all? Do you play them? What is one you remember constantly diving into? Maybe you still dive into it. I mean, another thing I didn't touch on was role playing, like GTA, Red Dead Redemption, Fallout. There's whole communities that role play in these open world games and have these experiences. So I think that's another element too. So I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on open world games, how much you appreciate them. I love them. They've always been a staple of a genre that I enjoy within, my video gaming experiences. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you go and check out all the other episodes. Leave a comment, leave a remark, leave a rating. And until the next one, y'all, peace.